It's like, what's the point of watching and listening if I just tell you all this? What this won't be about. This is to not waste anyone's time. The few people that are in here, thank you for staying around. Feel free to leave after this list is read. In-depth, this won't be in-depth technical how-to of video editing and production. I'll touch on the tools I use briefly and a bit of the method. This won't be about gaming any algorithms or for a new audience, understanding your niche and their preferences. This is what you need to do. You need to understand your niche. This is just supplement the video podcast. It's just like taking pills. You got to eat the whole foods, do the push-ups, and get the rest. That's a metaphor. You have to have good content at the end of the day and understand your audience if you want to grow that. Just adding video podcast and all the little hacks that people have, it's not going to make or break your podcast. It will help it. And it helped mine a lot, but I still start with really good content. This won't be about guaranteeing immediate audience growth, i.e. going viral. And this won't be about we won't be covering advanced social media marketing strategies. Again, if you're one of those people, feel free to leave. I see no one's left yet. Okay, great. All right, that was a lot. I do these review breaks. I like them. I do have ADHD, so I like to just go, wait, what did I just learn? That was a whole lot. We went over who I am, who we are, Darren Lake Podpaste, what you'll learn, the 5 things you'll learn, and what you won't learn. Now, like any good podcast, I'm gonna tell a quick story. So imagine if you could reach 5, 10, or even 20 times more people who consume your podcast with just 10 to 20% more effort. So literally 200% more for 20% more effort, which is pretty great. It's like a 1 to 10 ratio. Sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's the power of video when combined with a podcast. So I'm sure most of you have heard of the 80-20 rule. It's super popular now. When I heard of it 10 years ago, it wasn't, but everyone's talking about it now, and it's been observed to occur organically throughout nature. But here's a quick TLDR summary. If you look in your wardrobe, as an example, you probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. That's one way of looking at it. Another way is if you have a business or work at a company, most likely 80% of your revenue usually comes from 20% of the client or that type of client. Sometimes it's 70-30, 90-10, and as we all know, it could even be 99-1 with economics and, the 1% controlling a lot of the money. This is not an economic political presentation, so don't worry about that. We won't go into that. But think of it like leaving listeners money on the table. So listeners are the money. Doing 20% of the work, making great podcasts, is the first 80%. To not meet people that want to consume your content but don't listen to podcasts is like you're missing out on those listeners, to not actually give them the video so that I can reach them. So basically, I think of it like hold on, don't just finish the podcast, do 10 to 20% of the work, which is the marketing and the video, to get people to know about it and go, oh, that's cool, and consume even that little 30-second clip, that little infographic, because you will get 200, 300, 400, 500% outcome. Again, these are based on real world stats, which we'll get into in a second. So examples of the power of video podcasting and YouTube. I'll give you like actually what it's actually doing, the video podcast. So video helps you reach a new audience. Video produces higher discoverability. Some of this stuff, I'm sure. Video adds SEO value. It offers opportunities for micro content, which is the whole social media stuff that I've leaned far into, the short videos and all that stuff. That's the rage on the TikToks and the YouTube shorts and the Instagrams. Video drives higher engagement, optimized for sharing, gives you more opportunity to monetize, and makes content, I think, more personal. That is debatable. Some people think audio only is more personal, but I think a combination of both, it does. You're seeing someone's face there, especially if they're on a microphone, you get that camera. It feels personal, and they have a decent microphone to get in the ears. It sounds like they're right there with you. So everything like yin yang, here are the cons.